Baroda. Before that, I was in Porbandar, same Bhojeshwar bungalow where Swamiji stayed as the guest of the then administrator Shankar Pandurang Pandit. Same bungalow was given by the government of Gujarat to Ramakrishna Mission for converting to befitting memorial of Swami Vivekananda on 12 January 1997. So I was there for 8 years. Again I came to Baroda. Also here I am in Baroda in the same memorial house where Swamiji stayed. And 26 April 1892, Swamiji went to Bombay, then to Mahabaleshwar, and then to further south, Belgaum. He stayed for 1 week in the forest guest house, which has been converted to memorial once again, the Belgaum house where Swamiji stayed. And then he further went south, went to Hyderabad, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Chennai, and then further he went to Trivandrum and finally to Kanyakumari. Kanyakumari, he prostrated before in the temple before the mother Kanyakumari. He came to the shore where all the three oceans meet. He came to that corner. He saw a rock a little distance away. He had no money to pay to the boatman. But he was from Bengal. He knew good swimming. So without caring for the big fishes, shark, he just jumped in and swam across and went to the rock, meditated for 3 days and 3 nights, 24th, 25th, and 26th December 1892. And what did he meditate? He did not meditate on any god or goddess. He meditated on Mother India. He meditated on the great glorious past of India. Just now you heard what a great cultural heritage of India we had. Swamiji meditated on that great cultural heritage, spiritual heritage of India, the great glorious past when Swamiji, when India was on the top of the world on all fronts, economic front, spiritual field, architecture, sculpture, arts, music, in every field, science, algebra, geometry, mathematics, all. In fact, India has given, some people say, what India has given? India has given 0. Einstein told it is because of the 0 that we are surviving. All your computers, you remove 0, what remains? 0. The whole computers are working on 0 system, decimal system. It is the Indians. Einstein says we must give credit to Indian scientists for discovering 0. Without that 0, we would be 0, all the scientists. So, Swami Vivekananda meditated on the glorious past of India. He also meditated on the India that he had seen with his own eyes, poverty, priestcraft, untouchability, all the evils of the society, the sufferings of the poor people, millions of poor people, and the indifference of the Maharajas and the kings going only for their own pleasures without thinking of the miserable plight of the common masses and the atrocities of the higher caste of people on the lower caste. All these he saw. He meditated on that also, the present at that time of India. And also he meditated the glorious golden India that will emerge and how that will emerge. Then what went wrong? Is it our religion because of which we have been degraded? No. Our religion is great. Our Vedanta is great. Then what happened? When we stop applying the principles of Vedanta to our everyday life, at that time the degeneration started. And afterwards he said, we committed 2 crimes, 2 sins we have committed, and because of it degradation came. What are the 2 sins? Number 1, neglect of the masses, general masses, lower class of masses, the poor and the lower caste. And second, atrocities on women. Neglect of the masses, atrocities of women. These are the 2 great sins, national sins we have committed, because of which we had to undergo hundreds of years of slavery. And so Swamiji said, once again, these principles of Vedanta must be applied in everyday life. Again, India will grow. But then he remembered the words of his master Sri Ramakrishna, who said, Khali pete dharma hoy na. No religion with empty stomach. So he decided, okay, I will cross the ocean. I will go to Western countries. They have got science and technology. I will bring science and technology, but I will not go as a beggar. We have something else to give. I will give you the nectar of Vedanta there. In exchange, I will bring science and technology and removing the poverty of the people. And afterwards, we will give them the principles of Vedanta. Once again, India will come up. And he foretold, India will become so great that its past glory will fade into insignificance. That is how he meditated on that rock of Kanyakumari, how India can become great. He found out a plan how to do it. He said, I'll go to the West. And then he told his disciples in Madras, he wants to go to attend not only Parliament religions, that was one reason. Another reason was to bring money, science and technology, to remove the sufferings of people. These are the two objectives for which Swamiji went west, not only for participating in the World Parliament Religions Chicago. And then the Madrasi disciples collected some money which was not sufficient, and Swamiji thought whether I am going by my own desire or by the divine plan, I do not know. So he told them that you distribute from this money, purchase some sweets and distribute among these children of the fishermen. He waited, and then finally he got a letter from Sharda Devi. Yes, my dear boy, you must go. And Sharda Devi had a vision, and Swami Vivekananda himself had a vision. Sri Ramakrishna was going over the ocean, telling Naren to come. Then he could understand, I am not going to the West because of my own desire. I am going to the West because of the divine plan, because of the order of the God, and God will help me everywhere. With this conviction, he went to America. On 31st May 1893, he left Bombay by a steamer, went to Japan. From Japan, he took another steamer to Vancouver. In that ship, he was with Jamsetji Tata. And Jamsetji Tata, he had a lot of discussion. Just now you heard in the first session how Jamsetji Tata was inspired to start Indian Institute of Science because of the conversation that Swami Vivekananda had with Jamsetji Tata when they were traveling together in the same ship to Vancouver. From Vancouver, Swamiji came to Chicago by train. In the train, he met a lady, and that lady told that whenever you want, you please come to my house in Boston. And then Swamiji thought, okay, I will see later on. But when he went to Chicago, on 25th of July he reached. Nowadays you take the plane. I went last month, morning 6 o'clock I start, by 1 o'clock I am in New York. Now it is like that. That time, Swamiji had to go by ship. It took more than 2 months. On 31st May he started, and 25th July he reached Chicago. He went to the Committee of Parliament Religions. He was told the days are gone. And then now the days of entrance is also gone, and you don't have credentials. You don't have, and Swamiji did not have any credentials. And then, as you heard in the first session, Swamiji went to Boston, and Boston he accidentally met the professor of Harvard University, Professor John Henry Wright, who told Swamiji to ask credentials from you is like asking the sun as to what right it has to shine on the earth. And then he wrote down in a paper of recommendation to Dr. Barrows, who was the chairman of that Committee of Parliament Religions. He wrote, here is a man who is more learned than all our professors put together. All our professors put together. That is what he wrote. And then Swamiji went that letter of introduction. Then he went to Chicago again. But again, in the meanwhile, he had lost that paper. It was with a divine plan that he came in contact with Mrs. Hell. She took him to the Parliament Religions, and on 11th September 1893, Swamiji delivered his historic speech, and he started with Sisters and Brothers of America, and 7,000 people in that Columbus Hall and the Washington Hall, which was nearby, in that art institute. They all rose for a reason they did not know. And they clapped and clapped and clapped. And it was for more than 2 minutes. Swamiji was given 5 minutes for speaking. Half the time went only for clapping. And within that remaining 2.5 minutes, he gave a speech which is considered to be the best speech in the history of the whole world. This speech of 2.5 minutes. Even now, somebody has made a research. What is the speech which is Googled so much, which has been talked about? Even now people, and what did he say in the speech? He only said, though he was going as a representative of Hinduism, he talked about globalization at that time. He said, that sectarianism, bigotry and its descendant fanaticism have long possessed this beautiful earth, have drenched it often and often with blood. But for this, our civilization would have been far greater, humanity would have been far better. But their time has come, and I fervently pray that the bell that tolled this morning in the honor of this convention may be the death knell of all sorts of fanaticism, of all sorts of dogmatism, and all sorts of persecution, whether with the sword or whether with the pen. But we did not listen to his message, so after exactly 108 years, there are another 9/11. In 2001, the twin World Trade Centers were destroyed. Recently I went there, even now that is ground zero. They have made just sort of some fountain there, that ground zero will remain ground zero, but they are going to have a museum on 9/11. Small museum is there. I have got a pin 9/11. I have purchased from there. There are so many other things. Now a big museum will come up, and there is another big building has come up, but that ground zero will remain the ground zero. Whatever it is, Swami Vivekananda's message that time that he gave about harmony of religions, about world peace, about universal brotherhood is so relevant today. And that is why even now that speech is very much absorbed. And then on 19th of September, he gave his historic speech on Hinduism. And when he said, in Hinduism, we have this sloka, he told the sloka from the Shveta Upanishad, Shrunvantu Vishre Amritasya Putrah Aye Dhamani Divyani Tastu Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Adityavarnam Tamasa Parastat Tameva Viditvati Mritabeti Nanya Pantha Viditenaya. I have found the ancient one who is beyond all miseries. By knowing him alone, you shall be free from all miseries. And then he told all the people sitting in the parliament religions, dear sisters and brothers, let me call you by this great name. What is that? Amritasya Putra. You are the children of immortal bliss. You are not sinners. Vedanta does not recognize sin. It recognizes error. And the greatest error you are making when you are calling yourself a sinner. No, you are not a sinner. What are you? You are the children of immortal bliss. Ye the children of immortal bliss, holy and perfect beings. Ye, divinities and us sinners, it is a sin to call a man so. It is a standing liable on human nature. Come up, O lions, and shake up the delusion that you are sheep. Your soul's immortal, spirit's free, blessed and eternal. Ye are not matter, ye are not bodies. Matter is a servant, not ye the servant of matter. This is the message of Vedanta that Swamiji gave in the parliament religions, the nectar of Vedanta, and they liked this so much that Swamiji had to continue to stay for 3 more years in America. And of course he went to other European countries also, including UK, and there he found Sister Nivedita, Miss Margaret Noble, who later on became Sister Nivedita. Swamiji stayed there for 3 years, preaching the message of Vedanta, preaching the nectar of, giving the nectar of Vedanta to the people, and also speaking on the 4 yogas, Raj Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Karma Yoga. At present, Americans are very much in distress. They are committing suicide. Youths are committing suicide. They are becoming drug addicts. Why? Because whatever Swamiji has spoken, they have not yet taken. That is why Eleanor Stark has written a book. The name of the book is The Gift Unopened. And there she says, Columbus discovered the soil of America, but Vivekananda discovered the soul of America. And then she says, Swami Vivekananda gave us the gift to Americans, the gift of 4 yogas, Raj Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Karma Yoga, all this he gave. But that gift box remains unopened. This is the right time to open this gift box. The gift remains unopened. And this is the time during 150th birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda. When I recently went to America, I said, this 150th birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda is the right opportunity. Let us open this gift. All our problems will go away. So many people came to me in distress. They are having problem of drug addiction. They are in distress. Some thinking of committing suicide. All this will go away when the nectar of Vedanta will come. When we realize we are the children of immortal bliss. The message has already been given by Swamiji. The method has been given. The message has been given. But we have yet to take it. Like this, Swamiji stayed there for 3.5 years in America and Western countries. And on 15 January, Swamiji came back to India. And when he came back to India, he was asked this question, Swamiji, now when you have seen the glory of Western materialistic civilization, how do you feel about India? Then Swamiji said, India I loved before, But after seeing all your so-called materialistic glories of the Western countries, now the very dust of India is holy to me, the very land is holy to me, the very air of India is holy to me. It's a holy land of pilgrimage. Just as Guru Raji said, told you, he has traversed many countries. I have also traveled many countries. After seeing all the countries, when I was going for the countries, I can tell you frankly, when I was traveling to other countries for giving the message of Vedanta, I was feeling very happy. I will see this country, this country, this country. I was very happy. But when I was returning by the flight from other country to India, I was much, much more happy. Oh, I am going back to my India. This you will realize. You cannot realize the great, with all that poverty, uncleanness, dirty, this and that, the great joy of a family life, the great cultural values, the spiritual values of family life. You family values, you cannot know what you are missing in India, what you are getting in India, unless until you start missing what is there in the country, what you got in India. You have to miss them in order to appreciate whatever it is. Swamiji came here, and in order to give a practical shape to the teachings of his great master Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he started Ramakrishna Mission, and he drafted a constitution. And in 1994, when UNESCO celebrated the centenary of Swami Vivekananda participant in the World Parliament of Religions, the Director General of UNESCO, Federico Mayer, said, I was very much indeed struck by the stability of the constitution that was written or framed by Swami Vivekananda in 1897 with the constitution drawn up by UNESCO in 1945. Almost the same language. Both are talking about serving the poor irrespective of caste, creed, color, religion, nationality. In fact, Swamiji was a visionary who could visualize the problems of the nation, the problems of the world, and that is why Swami Vivekananda wrote in that constitution of Ramakrishna Mission that it will be without irrespect of caste, creed, color, religion, nationality. Now, when Swami Vivekananda left his body on 4 July 1902, there were only 5 centers. Now there are 174 branch centers all over the world, and 1,000 centers non-affiliated waiting for affiliation. So normally a leader leaves and his organization also gets destroyed. But here is a leader, a global leader for a global civilization, who had such great leadership leadership qualities. He did not become the first president of Ramakrishna Math and Mission. He made his brother disciple Swami Brahmananda the first president of Ramakrishna Order, and he himself was above name and fame and publicity, trying to be with his own divine self. And he had come from Saptarshi Mandal. He was preparing for Saptarshi Mandal, going back to that great place. But going back for only a temporary period. But he told, may I be born again and again and suffer thousands of miseries so that I may worship the only God that exists, the only God that I believe in, the sum total of all souls, and above all, my God the wicked, my God the miserable, my God the poor of all races, of all species, is the special object of my worship. And just as now you heard, Swami Vivekananda, after starting Ramakrishna Mission, he went to various parts of the country. The lectures that he delivered, everywhere the whole country was at that time sleeping. Hundreds of years of slavery, and Swamiji gave a clarion call, Uttisthata, Jagrata, Prapyavaran Nibodhata, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached, and the whole country got awakened. And the youth of that time, they took the message of Swami Vivekananda. First message was making India independent, and those youths of those times, they read the books of Swami Vivekananda. And the lectures from Colombo to Almora, wherever he went, he delivered very powerful speeches in response to the grand welcome that he received. These lectures are in the book, Lectures from Colombo to Almora. Reading these books, Mahatma Gandhi said, the love that I had for my country became 1,000-fold. A student was studying in 9th standard in Cuttack. He read this book and he said, I will sacrifice my whole life for the sake of the nation. Later on, his name became Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. All our great patriots, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. Radhakrishnan, Jawaharlal Nehru, Pandit Jawaharlal Chakravarti, Rajgopalacharya, Sri Aurobindo, all of them derived that inspiration from the books of Swami Vivekananda, from these lectures. And Swamiji again went in 1900, he made a second visit to the West, and there again he gave that nectar of Vedanta in a much more solidified manner. He came back in 1900 December, back to India. Now he was winding up this whole thing. He had traveled so much, he had given lectures so much. Now he was consolidating on Belur Math. He stayed there for 1 more 2 years, and on 4 July 1902, he gave up his body in meditation. On 4 July 1902, morning 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., he was in the old shrine meditating for 3 hours. In the afternoon, he taught the brahmacharis Sanskrit grammar. Then he went his brother disciple Swami Premanandji for the market. Nobody could know that he will leave his body so early. 2 days before he passed away, he told, when I pass away, you cremate me here. He pointed out a spot near Ganges under a bell tree. That time nobody took it seriously. But when these things happened, his body was cremated at the same spot where he said, now there is the beautiful Swami Vivekananda temple there by the side of the bell tree under which Swamiji had said that. So he could know, he prepared himself. He chose 4th July because he loved America, and 4th July is the Independence Day of America. And he wanted independence from his own body also on that day. So on 4 July 1902, his last words were to his sevak, meditate till I call on you.